Hey guys, welcome back to another discussion video where we're going to be discussing episode 29 and 30 of Ruler Master of the Mask. And I'm Morgan, in case you didn't know that. And over there is Sam.
Hey.
And we're going to be discussing, of course, episode 29 and 30, which is episode 15 in reality because, NBC is doing this weird thing where they're splitting up the episodes. But we're on episode 15, so we only have 5 more episodes after this, which is so flippin' weird. But episode 20 or episode 28, to start you guys off like before then, basically ended with the prince going to Daemonk's house because he took Guyon, and I'm just like, still at this time, I'm still like, this prince is flippin' stupid. And yeah, so he went into the house to save Guyon because Guyon was kidnapped. And also, Prince Sun went a little flippin' crazy last
A little.
episode. A little, just a little bit. Yeah, no, he went really crazy. And Sam, do you want to talk about the start of episode 29?
Yeah, so at the start we kind of get like again the same conversation we got before of them basically trying to talk Prince Sun out of doing what he wanted to do, which we all knew he was gonna do anyway, so it was kind of a moot point. And then kind of fast forward a little bit and we get Prince Sun walking in and um him seeing Gon and Gon seeing him and everybody going, oh shit, like what's gonna happen next because now he's in Daemon's hands. But basically, Gon it ends up getting taken away so that Daemon can have a conversation with Prince Sun
Can I
and
also
Prince Sun.
just add in real quick before you go in further? Can I just add that when like Prince Sun was talking to everyone like around the table and was like, "I need to go because blah blah." Like, if I don't risk my life to save the woman I love, I will not be the same man. And then he left, and then him and Chungmu, his bodyguard, gave this nod, and he like the nod was so awkward. It was like,
Oh,
"Yo,
I forgot
bro,
about the
yo,
nod.
bro."
The bro nod never made it into my notes.
It did. It was like the first time I listened. It's like, what the fuck is this grown up? Sorry, I swear, y'all. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So
Um,
anyway, Gon gets taken away, and peasant Prince Sun ends up telling the guards to treat her with respect because she is a woman who needs to be respected. And then we switch scenes. Switch scenes. It's getting late for me too. And we see peasant Sun in his I'm guessing his throne room talking to his bodyguard person who we all know is working for Daemok now.
mm,
And he ends up saying, I didn't write the phrase down, but he ends up saying something along the lines of, Daemok has gone, but she's okay and safe.
mm,
You don't need to worry about it,
yeah,
essentially.
basically,
And I wrote, wait, how did Peasant Son not catch on to the fact that his bodyguard is now working for Daemok? Seriously, he just gave him information
exactly, and
that
also,
only someone who works with Daemok would know.
exactly,
My
and
God, you
also,
stupid boy.
why would I also really pissed me off how he was like, you know what, let Daemon take care of the prince, like let him kill him. And President Sun was like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking about this girl who I love, who obviously does not love me, which it makes me so frustrated. But
Right?
Daemon and Prince Sun basically had a conversation. And this conversation basically took up the whole episode, I would say, or most of the episode.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
like
pretty
that whole
long.
just that one wasn't that one scene, but like that one sequence ended up being in one spot for at
Yeah,
least a solid 10-15
yeah,
minutes.
it felt like the whole episode to me. But uh basically Daemon asks the prince if he's like if he was there because of Guyon.
Hmm.
And Prince Sun is like, well, I think it's kind of out of character for you, Daemon, to use Daemon to lure me out of hiding. But I'm like, dude, he killed little kids, and he made little kids work with poison. Like, you really think this is out of character for him? Like, what are you
Right?
thinking? Um, and of course, the prince, asked for Guyon to be released. But I'm like, dude, do you really think this would actually happen? Because that's not gonna happen. Like, he's like, yeah, can you just let him go? And Daemon's like, yeah, sure, of course I
Sure,
will.
whatever.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
I'm a nice guy. Not really.
Yeah. But Daemon also asks the prince what type of flower he has became.
Hmm.
Um, like, because after being in the wind and frost for years. And, and he also said when it's not time for you to bloom. And he looks at the flower, and it's the same flower that the prince had given to him before. And by the way, I can just say Daemon has not been taking care of that flower because that flower does not look healthy
I
whatsoever.
was gonna say, but at least the flower is still
It's
existing
still there.
this long because it would have been dead a week in my house.
I don't know about me. I don't have flower. I don't ever have flowers. But can I also? I really wish like when I saw that I was like, oh, this day like Daymok's like, don't worry, bro. I want to keep your plant forever. And I'm like, what? Like you think he would
He
throw it
has a
out?
crush on the prince.
He
He kept
does.
the flowers.
He gets it from his granddaughter. But the prince states that he will bloom once Pusawan is gone. But Daemok laughs and he says, like, you know what? Do you think the king, like the kingdom, can actually like withstand without Pengsu? And that Daemok he wants a better kingdom. That's what he wants. But only the king and noble people and have a good life. The country is
Mhm.
sickened by poverty, and he just wants like a better country. But for me, at this time of watching it, I was like, Daemok's like the huge reason why there is so many issues, why
Mhm.
there's so many poverty. Like, you gotta think about it. He loaned out money and then asked for it back really, really fast. And then he made people pay for water. So you cause the financial issues, but yet you're
Right.
blaming other people, which honestly just did not make sense to me. And I don't know about you, but I also like absolutely loved it that the prince like laid it onto him and was like when Daemok asked him if he wanted to join Pusawan, and he was like, you know what, I want the same thing as you, but I don't want to be like you. Like I don't want to
Right.
use children until they die or have people die so I can get what I want. I also don't
Mhm.
want to kill people just to have money. While you just obviously Daemok, you just sit back and you don't do anything, you let it happen. And
Right.
he's like, why do you have the right to think of the future when you're the one destroying it?
Right. I mean, the interesting thing about Daymok I've seen is that he tries to appeal to like whatever people's end goals are. So he ends up having a conversation with him too about how he um Prince Sun had ended up saying like he was the rightful ruler, and Daymok had asked how could he be the rightful ruler when he was just lucky to be born a prince. And he basically alludes to the fact that his Prince Sun's father and Daymok were friends at one point, and that had it not been for Daymok, his father would not have been a king, and therefore it kind of threw a flashback in a little bit of the eunuch saying that he looked like the guy who stole the throne, which would be his father.
Yeah, yeah.
But what Daymok does really well is that he appeals to what people want and in a way kind of gives it to them with a little bit of a catch.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he's kind of a wish granter, and as long as he says, "I will grant you the wish," but you kind of godfatherly almost,
Mhm.
like there will come a time when I need to call upon you, and when it happens, like you need to do me favors.
Yeah.
It's a lot of favors because you'll die if you don't,
Pretty
basically.
much. And also Daemon basically says also like he's like who has a right to be who has a right to like be angry and who has a right to seek revenge and who's right because the fact that he gave his father the opportunity to kill his brother
Hmm.
to become the king, and then the king basically shunned him and didn't want anything to do with him, so he's like, who has the right to be angry, who has the right to seek revenge? Like today Monkey thinks like, what, I'm doing what's right. Your father didn't listen to me. That's what your father got. He didn't listen to me, and then he died. But I can see where Prince Sun's coming from because he's like, you're just a psychopath kind of thing. And it's kind of like, you think you're doing the right thing, but you're blinded by what you're doing because you don't realize you're actually doing more harm. Because in the end, if you keep causing poverty, if you keep making people pay more money for water, then what's gonna happen? It's gonna
Right.
end up bad. It's gonna end up with poverty. It's gonna end up with like a rebellion. I can just see it ending really bad. But Daemon makes an offer to make him king if he joins Susawan and marry Hagun. And I'm like, I see you there, Daemon, playing Cupid for your granddaughter. But of course, the prince rejects it by saying like, do you know how a wolf catches how to catch a wolf in the north in the winter, and you place a bloody knife in the wolf's track. Due to the cold, the wolf's tongue will be numb, and it will lick the knife, unaware that that its tongue will be bleeding, and eventually the wolf will die from all the cuts in the blood, like in the mouth. And
Hmm.
I'm like, well, that's kind of morbid, but okay,
Yeah, but it was supposed to the sword they allude to. representing the power,
Mm-hmm.
and that if he takes the power, he's just going to become numb to all the bad things that are happening to him until ultimately he can't stop what's about to
Yeah.
happen.
And of course, yeah,
But
so
that was
he
a morbid story.
it was, but he rejects the offer by Daymok and decides, and of course Daymok decides to use Guyon against him, and he says like, I will kill her, then I'll kill you. And of course, crazy person Hagen comes out of nowhere and she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, first off, I thought you were grounded and you're locked up somewheres, but I guess
I
like
know.
I thought it was so like weird that he was like in the last episode he was like lock her up, and then she's like just roaming around free. I don't understand.
Long enough to hear the conversation and know
Yes,
what's going on. Let's just put that one out there. So how long was she hanging out at the bottom of the stairs?
probably the whole time. I don't even know.
Because she's a creeper.
She probably got a little sensor like the prince is here. I gotta go. I gotta go. But she
It's the pinprick.
yes. Oh my god. We're forever gonna make fun of that. I'm just gonna say, but she of course begs her grandfather to let him go, and he gives her offer like, you know what, he's not listening to me. How about you talk to him? So since you want him to live so bad, and you convince him to join us, or else he's gonna die. So the grandfather leaves, and she sits down and talks to him for
Well,
once.
he
Like,
also says too, this is the last chance that she can beg for his life too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
she needs to convince him, or she can no longer protect him.
yeah. And I know I like the fact that this is the first time she can actually talk to him as herself, as her true self in a way. With no
Hmm.
secrets, no lies, no nothing. This is really who she is and really what she wants. But she basically tells him like, you know what, don't get rid of Pisawan, instead take it over. Take over, like take my grandfather's offer and I'll be by your side. But finally the prince tells her, I'm not in love with you. I'm in love with someone else, and don't fight for me. Don't put up with such a stand for me because I don't feel the same way for you. But I don't know if maybe if I'm the only one who got this, but for me, I felt like Hagen was like, I just want to be by your side, but I was like, as friends.
No, I think she was kind of as like the conversation was going on. I think she was kind of like editing herself a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and like and he said that it wasn't fair to her that she was doing all of this for him, and like she's like, but I love you, and then he's like, well, I only love one woman, and then she's like, well, I love you and I just want to do this for you, and it'll be okay if I'm not by your side, but like just do this.
Yeah, and I don't know. She promises that, she's like, I'll give you all my love. And I'm like, calm down, girl. But, he says that since he knows her feelings and he knows how she feels and he knows her true feelings, that he can't lie to her. He can't let her be by her side and join something that he doesn't believe in. And I'm like, this is so Hufflepuff. Because he's so loyal to Gaia that he's like, I will not stand with you, even though I know my life is in danger. I was like, this Hufflepuff. Um,
Right. And
but,
then before
oh
like
my
she can
God.
finally convince him, the guards come and take him away, and like you just see Hwagun sitting there like in an ocean of her own tears, and her father kind of just watches her and
Yeah,
like you know what? It did kind of break my heart a
I
little bit.
did. I felt
It
bad
just a
for
little bit. I
Hagen.
did feel so bad for her.
But to be honest with you, with Hagen's story, I wish there was a little bit more of a backstory about her or a reason why she fell so much in love with him. I felt like it would have been amazing if maybe we got a clip or two about maybe she fell in love before with someone and she absolutely loved him, and then like he got murdered or something like that by Pusawan, by her grandfather, or maybe something like that. And then she meets the prince, and the prince reminds her of her first love, and that's why she's so obsessive. Because to me, I can't. I mean, I like the character, but I don't understand why she's so like in love. Like why she's so quick to be in love.
Right.
If
And I
that makes
mean,
sense.
that's kind of a story development issue, but this story has had a lot of issues as it is, and like at this point, I'm kind of like done trying to
Yeah.
pick out the plot holes and just kind of go with it
It's just
because the more you stare at it, the worse it hurts. So,
yeah. But then our psychopathic Hagoon goes to see Guyon. Na na
yeah, I know, right?
na. And the minute I saw her open the door, I was like, "Oh my god, Guyon, run, run!" Um, but of course, Hagung uh, goes to slap her in the face because she's like, no, because no pins are nearby, so she has to slap her. But she tells Guyan that, the prince is about to lose his life forever and it's your fault. And Guyan's kind of shocked that, he's going to die. But I'm like, dude, what did you expect? Like, what did you expect?
Right.
But she's also still pissed, which this pisses me off even more about the fact that, that the prince, or she thinks the prince killed her father. But Hagen kind of, she kind of gives a hint to
Right.
Guyan that the prince did not kill her father. I mean, he should have told her since the minute she kind of said something, like she brought it up,
Hmm.
but he didn't. Because I feel like, it would have been much better if he, I mean, he didn't even have to bring up his bodyguard. He could have just been like, I was locked in the tower and someone else did it. Like, just tell her the truth. Don't just be like, I'm sorry. Like, no. Just
Right.
tell her the truth. I don't understand these people so much.
So after her little tyrant temper tantrum at one end, she goes to the other end to go and again beg for the prince's life, even though she's already been told that like it's not going to happen. But um yeah, so she goes to beg for his life, and basically Damoc says that if Prince Sun goes through the initiation ceremony, then he will let the prince live. Um, and I'm guessing more or less Hwagun's okay with it because as long as like, and she knows that, um, well, she ends up going out, and I think we end up seeing Gon again, right?
Yes, and I told you he was alive. I was like, my emo ninja is back. But you're talking about the next episode, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I've like skipped ahead in my notes a little bit. So
But
do
her
this.
father is the one who brought up the antidote. He was like, "Don't
Yeah.
worry, I have an antidote." And I'm like, maybe this guy isn't so stupid after all, because if you remember, he actually volunteered to go work in the poppy fields. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
maybe he's not an idiot after all, and maybe he's like, he's putting one and two together. But my thing is like, why is he helping him? But then again, I think the reason why he's helping him is because he doesn't want his father in power anymore,
Right.
and he feels helping the crown prince to be more in his, be better for him. But Chung Su, which is the prince's bodyguard,
Mhm.
goes to save Guyan. But of course, this girl wants to find the prince to ask him a question, aka, did you kill my father? I'm like, what? Like, what the fudge? Does this make any sense? Like, I'm going to die, but let me go ask you a question first.
Right. And when
No.
she asks him, I felt like you could see kind of the shift in emotion in his eyes a little bit, which is awesome acting because I saw that.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And he basically gets down on his knees to beg for forgiveness, stating that he is ultimately the one
Yeah.
that ends up killing her father.
Yeah. And it's
So now
only
she knows.
Yeah, she does know. So Chung Su did tell her truth, like you said. But I mean, I mean, it's all good to tell her the truth, but not in the evil guy's lair. Like, let's do
Right.
it when after we escape. But Daemonk talks to Peasant Son because Peasant Son comes, and he basically tells Peasant Son that he'll no longer be wearing the mask. He's
Hmm.
thinking about making Prince Son into the real, give him his birthright. And I think this surprised Peasant Son so much. And I'm like, dude, did you really think you'd be able to wear that mask forever? Like, no,
He
like,
tried though because he was begging Damoc to make him the real king and all of that. So.
yeah. I just like, uh, it, Peasant Son's an idiot. That's all I gotta say.
Hmm.
But Peasant Son and Peasant Son meet again, and I'm like, please let this bromance come back, even though I'm pretty sure it's deader than the dead, and
Oh
dead,
no, it's better
dead,
than
dead.
Romeo.
It's deader than the rock. It's gone, but it still upsets me. But Peasant Son is angry over Prince Son not like fighting for Gaia, not putting up a fight. But of course, Daemon puts two together and figures out that they're escaping, and at that moment they are caught,
Hmm.
and they Chung. Surprisingly, Gaian is not brought into the room, just Chungwoon. But Chungwoon,
Hmm.
the prince's bodyguard, is brought into the room.
Beat the crap.
Yeah, and
That poor
Damox,
kid.
yeah, but Damox like pissed off that they tried something, so he, I think it's his face, but he slices Chungwoo's face, and I was
Hmm.
like, what the? I was like, WTF?
I there
No.
was an audible when that happened. That was like one of the few things in this like whole drama. Oh my gosh, brain fart. That caught me off guard because I thought he was just going to kill him, and then I was like, slash in the face, what is going on?
Yeah,
But basically he just like Chungsu, yeah.
Chungsu.
Chungsu is a pawn in this because Daymok knows how Hufflepuffy our
Oh
prince
my,
is,
can
and
I just
so
say that as soon as you said that, I have it in my notes. I wrote in my notes, that's a Hufflepuff right there.
so he knows how Hufflepuffy the prince is, and knows that he's going to stay loyal to his friends. So when he ultimately ends up threatening Chung Su's life, he Prince Sun ends up getting on his knees and begging for um, him to not kill him, and that he will do the initiation
Mm.
ceremony. He will go through with it.
Yeah, because I think
Um,
like that's the only way that he would do it. Unless
right,
I honestly think that anyone near him that whether it be, I even think if it was peasant son too, he would have begged because
right.
like
I don't know. I don't know how rocky the waters are right now.
I feel like with anyone that's really close to him, he would have begged for their lives.
Yeah.
Because that's just how he is. He rather, instead of like thinking about himself, he'd rather think about other people, and that what I feel like makes him a better king, I guess.
Hmm.
But we are now on to episode 30. And Peasant Son goes to see Guyon, um, and who's, of course, captive by Damonk. And she begs for him to save the crown prince, and that, he was here to save her, now his life in danger. And Peasant Son goes all psycho and snaps at Guyon to, like, remember who killed your father. But Guyon basically tells him the truth, and she's like, dude, I already know who killed my father. And Peasant, who looks shocked, is like as if like all his plans are coming undue. He like kind of like he promises kind of like, oh, don't worry, I will help Prince Sun. Wink, wink. Maybe not. Probably not. Nope, not gonna happen. And I was just like, yeah, I doubt that. Um, but of course, Peasant Son goes to the one person who would probably be on his side, and that is the Queen. And he basically asks the queen for advice and tells the queen that like he tells the queen that like she he has like Guyon, and that he's scared that he doesn't want to be a pup anymore. And the queen takes him with like big arms, like, don't worry, I'm here, I will fix everything for you, and you should have been on my side way before this, but don't worry, mothers can fix everything. And I can't help but wonder if the queen was actually up to something when she did promise him that she would
Right.
help him in any way. And also, the queen's niece became the next queen too, because it was
Right.
announced. And so I think that was like one of the things that I think that's the reason why she looks so happy, because he needs help. So she's like, let me make you an offer.
Yeah, so she's kind of at this point things seem to be going her way, at least in her mind,
Yeah,
but they're not, and we will get to that.
yeah, and
Um, but Daymok ends up having a conversation with Mr. Gon, who's still
my
alive.
emo ninja.
I thought he was dead.
I was right. That means
I'm
Yul's
like,
alive.
yeah, Yoel's alive. But Mr. Emo Ninja is still alive, and he has basically instructed Gon to pick a side. Um, and it says something around the lines of you need to protect the people who are in like your best interest almost. But we don't really get a whole conversation with them. Like it kind of gets cut off, and you kind of have to just kind of guess through context what the conversation was. And Hwagun ends up being outside after this whole conversation, which let me just say, in the Joseon Dynasty era, the walls aren't exactly thick. Like you can hear through them. They seem like they're pretty paper thin. So how did you not hear the conversation that was going on?
I mean, like, how else can someone have such good eye vision that view a pin mark on skin?
I don't know, but apparently she's deaf but like has eagle eyes. I don't know.
I don't know.
Um but he says that he knows how a place where they can get the antidote, and if they leave now, they'll be back in time for the initiation that's supposed to take place at midnight.
Yeah, and which is obviously a distraction for her.
Yeah,
But
I said, except people lie, and therefore the ceremony's taking place during the day.
yeah, yeah, but like I mean, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna have it right now, spontaneous. But so he goes to they go to for him to take the poppy pill. And I don't know, I was watching it and I saw a pause on one of the members, and I was like, wait, who's under that mask? I'm like, the camera stopped a person, but I can't help
I
but wonder
figured
who
it
it
out.
is. Obviously, I wrote my notes, I'm like, is it Prince Peasant Son? And we find
Yeah,
out
that's how
later
I
on
guessed.
it was Peasant Son. But he is given a cup of poppy wine, and even though Guyan begs for him to not take the poppy wine, and she's like, "Don't take it! Like, don't make my father's death in vain! Please don't do it." He still takes it. And also, can I just hate? I also hated that in the scene, they had a sword up to her neck, and she was like going into it, like she was like struggling to
Right.
like, and I hate that so much. So I'm like, that's so unrealistic to me. And I obviously know that's not a real sword, but like, it's like, come on, like if that was real, you'd be all bloody because you're going into it.
I know you would have already slashed your own neck at that point.
Yes, but Daemon, oh, I mean, so suddenly all the crown prince starts like throwing up blood while trying to say who he is, his real name,
Hmm.
and Daemon had decided to give the crown prince 3 poppy pills. What?
I saw him put three in, but I don't think we've ever actually like fully watched him like make the poppy wine before. I think it was just them drinking it. So when he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, one person gets one poppy pill, you get addicted. Three, you die," and I'm like, "What?" But
Yes.
I called and FaceTimed Morgan to say a prediction because I was like, I didn't want to be like, I know I'm right. But I had written that the poison will not work. He's already fought off the poison once, and this is just going to happen again, causing the weird scar mark on his back to raise because, well, poison.
Yes. 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 Um,
So,
you're right, but
mhm,
Daemon, he obviously had no plans of keeping the crown prince around.
mhm.
And he asked the crown prince, like, he's like, "Do you see me as a monster?" And I was like, "I do, I do." Um, but he goes, "No, I'm just a man who's fighting, and it was the nation who turned me into a monster." And of course, he does, but he doesn't die. But Guy in Gaian's arms while telling her like that he loves her, and I thought that whole scene was very cute and adorable. But I just want to smack Guyan for being so stupid for pausing and not letting him like not escaping when she could. But
Mhm.
um Hagun finally gets back, and with like I don't know if she has the antidote, but I know she gets back, and her father tells her that the whole thing's over, and Hagun realizes that Gon is loyal to her grandfather, but Gon still states that he's loyal to her, and I if she went after the antidote and she obviously got it for him, she would have been harmed, so so that's why he was doing to protect her. He didn't want her to get hurt, so that's why he kind of let her off. It was more about her safety than
Mhm.
her grandfather. But she asked him if her grandfather told him this, that she'd be harmed, and if he killed the conference, and of course he nods, and she goes all crazy and is about to kill her really only friend, if you think about it,
Mhm.
with a sword, but she drops it and tells him to go find the crown prince,
Right.
who she thinks is dead. So did you
So,
want to talk about the celebration dinner?
yeah, I wrote, meanwhile, there's a celebration going on, dot, dot, dot.
Woohoo!
And I was like, I think it's to celebrate the upcoming marriage because
Yes,
I
yes.
wrote the note before they started talking about the setting the wedding dates. I was like, it's the celebration of the marriage between peasant's son and the minister, the Wright's daughter, the queen's
Mm.
niece. Um, and I mean, it's a happy celebration. Everybody's excited and whatnot. And peasant's son invites Wubo and his trusty sidekick. I can't remember what his name is.
Wubo, and the other guy, his name is like
No, this was the
Ryukook.
younger one,
Muha?
Muha. So he invites Wubo and Muha up to receive a drink from the king, and Wubo kind of, I guess we find out, knows something weird is going on,
Yeah,
and
because
so
he's like, "Thank you for remembering my advice he
yeah,
or I gave you," or something like that.
and so Wubo, while he's pouring the drink, he ends up dropping it, and it spills everywhere, and he goes, "What are you drunk already?" And I love Wubo drunk.
Me too.
I had so much, I was laughing so hard at this scene. I actually was like, maybe I should pause and start writing some more notes because I'm going to forget everything.
I
So,
No, I
oh my
love that
gosh.
scene. I loved it because like, uh, I just thought it was hilarious, and but for men like I also like the fact that Muha was like, he's like, "You spilled the wine, Muha," and Muha's like, "No, you did." He's like, "You're drunk. Go home."
Go home, Wubo, you're drunk.
Oh God.
But him smacking Muhan was like, why, how dare you drop your drink on the king and brr, brr, brr. Oh my gosh. I love those two. I hope they survive to see the end of this drama.
Yes. Oh, I'd be so sad if any of of those two die. But Peasant's Son does something shady. He
Mm-hmm.
makes me even more angry. It's not Mungsu who's doing this. It's his character because I love Mungsu because he's like a little sweet little munchkin. But I don't like his character. But Peasant Son switches out the teas, and I'm like, don't be stupid. Come on, Peasant Son, don't be stupid. But he gives the same tea to all the people in the Queen, and the Queen drinks it, and then she realizes that some of the people, mostly the people from Punsu, have not drinking the tea. And then Daemonk comes in, and I'm like, no, Daemonk, you did not do that. And the queen realizes that something is wrong. And then Daemonk basically tells them, like, hey, you just took the poppy wine. You're all my slaves now. You have to take it every 15 days, or else you'll be dead. So now you're all my slaves. And the queen is pissed off, and she is basically shunned to her room,
Mm-hmm.
basically grounded to her room, and she is brought in by her court lady. By the way, this is the same court lady that left in one of the episodes because she was like new things and she left.
Now she's back.
Now she's back. Does that make any sense to you?
I think this drama doesn't make any sense. So the reason why the queen is actually imprisoned is because the prince ends up making Prince King ends up making a law stating that it's illegal to try and gain power on the maternal side because she was trying to align her niece with the king, so like her family would be more powerful, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's illegal, apparently you retroactivate it, and the queen is now a prisoner in her own palace.
Yep. So the queen's out of the game.
And then through the power trip, now the Pyeonsuhue have the ability to mint money, which is what they've been trying to do for quite a while now.
Yep. And on top of that, a bunch of changes happens. The
Mm-hmm.
king or peasant son puts Pungsu's men, I can say Pungsu's men in charge in certain positions. He basically kicks out Wubu and Muha out of the palace when they disagree to all the changes. And while this is happening, the chief Unchun knows, like, he is obviously like, okay, the power is now off. There will be bloodshed, and he asks Mi Chang for, he's like, he wants to meet with the crown prince now, and Mi Chang's like, there's no hope anymore, like, it's gone, he's dead,
Yeah.
there's no hope. But uh Prince Sun tells Guyon that, or I'm sorry, Peasant Sun
Peasant son.
tells Guyon that Prince Sun is dead and the queen is now powerless and that Pengsu has taken over the court. And Guyon shot out of everything, out of it, like, oh god, the country's going to shit. She's like, but the prince is dead? And I'm like, oh my god, this girl.
You didn't know he was dead? He died in your arms for
Yeah, I
one.
was like, what? Um, but of course, he's not really dead, is he? Because Prince
Yeah.
Sun's like a zombie. Let's just face it. Prince Sun's a zombie. He's a
Yeah, because
zombie.
the episode ends with us seeing like it's like an aerial view, and then like creepy crawlies all over him. Oh, that centipede was so gross. And then you see the scar mark on his shoulder raise and redden, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then you get the previews, and he looks like a zombie.
Yes. So can I just say, that I'm kind of done with this show already. I dread watching these episodes, and I don't know. It's like I like the show in some aspects. Like I like how it's like full of action. It's not boring because that's one thing I worry about historical dramas is that sometimes it's just kind of boring. And that's why I don't usually watch historical dramas because for me personally, not saying I'm not bashing anyone who likes historical dramas or anything like that. It's aka Sam. I just don't. It's not my type of drama. But I just like it's like my heart can't take it any more bullshit like from anyone. I don't like where the characters are going off, and we have 5 more episodes left, and I wish that we had a little bit more backstory on Hagoon. I wish Peasant Son can get over his hot head. I wish Prince Sun and Peasant Sun can get that romance back again. And Prince Sun, I feel like every single time he has the upper hand, he gets pushed down. And I guess that's what a K drama's about. But I like these little, like, you remember like they had a little adventure where they went and they found like the copper. I love that kind of thing where he paired off with Hagoon and they had like they fought against Pusawan and they, stumped. I like that kind of stuff. But if you think about it, there's only been really one time where they stumped Pusawan, and the rest of the time it was more like the queen getting revenge and stuff like that.
Yeah. I will say what I did like though is that we kind of crossed off a lot of things on our list. So Gaen knows who killed her father. So the prince is kind of off the hook for that. The foreshadowing we had way, way, way in the beginning of the like it was like episode 2 of the scar. We now see the scar come into play, and so we've crossed that off our list. We knew that Peasant Son was going to end up having a nasty power trip. He's on that one right now. And that's pretty much where we are right now. But and Gaen knows who the prince is, the real one, and she knows that the king is Peasant Son. So everybody knows who everybody is.
Yeah.
No hiding their identities anymore. Like it is what it is right now. So now we could go forward.
Can I just say most of my theories are coming out? Like, can I just say like because I wrote these before or after episode 1. And because my theories, like like the ones I have them circled, the ones I've gotten. There's one of them that I haven't came true, but I said that Monks' character, which is Peasant Son character, is going to become the prince, and he's going to be a little power hungry, which is obviously true. I also said the prince and peasant son are going to fight for power, which I guess is kind of true in some sense because they are kind of fighting for the throne in some aspects. I did say Monks is gonna, or peasant son's gonna sacrifice himself, but I don't know. Like I didn't. I just said like the bad guys are gonna try to get him to join, which didn't happen, or he's gonna get poisoned, which he did get poisoned for peasant son, for prince son, but he hasn't sacrificed himself yet. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. And I also said that they'll make it when he's dying and the king's gonna die, which obviously happened. But we have a couple things, so maybe it'll happen in the future. We have 5 episodes left, and by the way, 5 episodes left. What else can they do? Like it's five episodes.
Did you just see what happened in 1 hour? So much
True,
can
but like I
happen.
feel like this should have been the finale in some aspects.
Yeah, second to last
Second
episode.
last episode, yeah. But anyways, you guys, wait, Sam, is there anything else you want to add?
What are your guys' theories? Like, there's 5 episodes left. Like, where do you think they're going with this? That is my question to all of you who are watching.
And do you want that romance back? Because I do. And also, you guys, thank you for watching this episode. If you guys do have any questions, or if you guys want to add anything to our discussion video, or you have any, things you want to just talk to us about, please write them down below because we love talking. And we will go.
Clearly.
Yeah, we love talking. Mostly Morgan. But we will see you guys next time. And okay, bye.
Hey guys, what's up? We hope you enjoyed that discussion video because we enjoyed making it. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you liked it, you hit that like button. We make videos every Tuesday and Sunday, and we will see you soon.